January 1959, the Russian Ural Mountains. With temperatures dropping to -30 degrees, it is an environment that kills anyone who makes a mistake. Igor Dyatlov and his team of 8 other hikers were not making mistakes. They were elite, highly trained survivalists, entirely comfortable in the freezing elements. But when rescuers finally located their abandoned campsite a few weeks later, the scene contradicted every established rule of wilderness survival. Their primary shelter, the main tent, was completely ruined. It hadn't been torn by mountain winds. The thick canvas was deliberately cut from the inside. Leading away from that slashed fabric was a clear trail of footprints. The team had fled out into the lethal cold wearing only socks or completely barefoot. These were hardened experts. To willingly destroy their only shelter and run into the freezing darkness meant they were running from something worse. The final night started normally. The team pitched their tent on an open snow slope and settled in for the evening. Then, in the dead of night, an event occurred that triggered an instant, blinding panic. They didn't even have the vital seconds required to untie the tent flaps. They grabbed their knives and physically carved an escape hatch straight through the wall. Leaving behind heavy coats, boots, and crucial survival gear, they scrambled down the slope toward the pitch-black tree line. Investigators later found 2 of the hikers at the edge of that forest. Their bare hands were entirely frozen, showing they had desperately, and unsuccessfully, tried to spark a fire under a large pine tree. The timeline of their escape shows nobody was calmly packing up. This was a primal flight response from an immediate, overwhelming threat. The investigation grew much darker when authorities examined the remaining bodies scattered across the snow. Several of the hikers had suffered horrific internal trauma. We're talking massive, localized damage, shattered ribs, and entirely crushed skulls. The autopsy reports describe massive internal crushing force, yet the outer skin of those same hikers was entirely untouched, without a single cut or bruise. Even more disturbing, they discovered that one female hiker's tongue was completely missing. And then the forensic lab added a bizarre detail. Traces of high-level radiation were soaked into several pieces of the hiker's clothing. This combination of zero external trauma, extreme crushing force, and radiation creates a forensic profile that defies standard medical explanation. Many experts naturally pointed to a sudden avalanche burying the tent as the most logical explanation. But the geography doesn't support it. An avalanche would have swept the campsite away, yet perfectly preserved barefoot footprints remained clearly visible on the surface of the snow, leading right out of the tent. The radiation and crushing anomalies spawned wilder theories, ranging from covert Soviet military weapons testing to extraterrestrial encounters. Yet none of those explanations can simultaneously account for a tent slashed from the inside, crushed bones with no external bruises, and radioactive clothing. The official Soviet investigation closed the case with a chilling, ambiguous verdict. The hikers, they wrote, were killed by an unknown, compelling force. Decades later, the Dyatlov Pass Incident stands as a terrifying monument to the unknown. It shows us that despite all our survival expertise and scientific reasoning,